Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 28 of What If Naruto Had Cosmic Energy. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything over an Anime King. And enjoy that guys. And also, stay tuned for the result of what is coming over and making. And if you're new, yes, you heard that all correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last spot we left off, Nagato returned back to the village after being summoned there by the summoning path. As the other paths went to their unit, as he made his way where he saw Konan, he knew that Konan was doing something behind his back. Of what though he did not know, but he never thought Konan would actually betray him, never, after everything. So he never thought that for 1 second. But there was something that she was not telling him. As Tendo went to reactivate the rain, he felt something. It was a split second, but then it was gone. It was Naruto as he felt the rain coming down. As rain touched him, he created a cube around him and Jiraiya as it blocked out the rain. It was a sensor type, the sense enemies in the village. The both of them made their way towards the source as Jiraiya told Naruto to keep his emotions in check, as he knew that Naruto was repressing the deaths of the girls and turning that into anger, and it was going to fuel his anger. And whenever he get too angry, it was quite chaotic. And Jiraiya didn't want that. Yes, he couldn't afford to let that happen right now. So with that, they made their way. Nagato sensed them as Naruto dropped the barrier. As they arrived, Konan came out, including Tendo. Jiraiya was shocked. He was shocked to his core to see these two here. That meant Yaiko was... But Yaiko informed him that Yaiko was gone. Jiraiya was confused. He was sure the one in front of him was Yaiko, but he said that they were pain. As Naruto was getting more angry by the second pile on, Nagato pushed it as the both of them launched themselves towards each other. Konan told him to stop because, as she watched as a large building broke down. To her surprise though, Naruto saved all the people, transporting them to a different area. As the path started to use their summonings, but Naruto simply slapped them away, one after another to show that Nagato was not even in the league. The battle caused tremendous damage to the hidden rain. So far in fact, as Naruto demolished all of the paths, Jiraiya begged Konan to tell Nagato to stop. He will try to get Naruto to calm down. As people, innocent people were gonna die. The people were trying to evacuate towards the tunnels, but chaos were ensuing all around. Tendo was able to knock Naruto back as Jiraiya watched as the place started to shake. He was pulled from the ground as Naruto grabbed him and threw him. Tendo slammed Naruto to the almighty push and threw him into the moon that he was creating. Konan went down there and she was about to stop Nagato with her own hands, but he blasted her away right through the wall, telling her to stop interfering as he used the Shibuya Tensei. As the village was rooted up from the ground, thousands died within seconds. But it did not matter as long as he got the 9 tails. The thing was then obliterated all. All of the gravitational force was for naught as Naruto came out, his cosmic mode leaping off of him. The environment started to change, winds started to pick up tornado. The rain started to come down as acid, as Naruto power is so chaotic to be used on this planet it seems, as Naruto moved with unholy speed. One punch as Tendo's body was obliterated, the masked man chose the right opportunity as he ripped out Nagato's eyes and fled rather quickly. as Naruto destroyed the wall and grabbed Nagato as he flew him straight towards the edge. Right at the edge of Earth. As Nagato could not see the emptiness of space. But he realized that he lost. He realized in the moment that he felt his spear cracking, he lost. He should have noticed that earlier. As he begged Naruto to do something for him, seeing how naive that he was. As the masked man took his eyes. As Naruto was furious about that another madman going around calling himself Madara Uchiha now had the eyes that Nagato could use to wield dangerous things. He begged Naruto to look after Konan for him and apologized for him to her. But Naruto wasn't about to let him live, as Naruto released him in the cold depths of space. As those were Nagato's final thoughts. But unaware to Naruto, him being up here, his cosmic edges spread through the universe. As something opened their eyes, sensing Naruto, sensing the power that he was wielding, and the thing was shocked. So yeah guys, was basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place, check out for yourself. So this will be in this new episode. Konan didn't know what was going on. As she woke up, the last thing she remembered was chaos all around her. The earth being ripped apart, the earth splitting open. The rain, she couldn't fly because it burned her shoulder. Literally, as she glanced towards her shoulder, she could not see it. The place that she was at the moment was so dark, she could not even see her hands in front of her face. As she didn't know what was going on, as she didn't know where she was. She remembered a building toppling over on her. She flew, but the rain burned her badly as she had to fly to the side where another building collapsed right on her. She thought that she was a goner. The rain was literally acid. The earth had split open and fire was coming out of it, lava. Howling storms, tornadoes, nothing but destruction. A hand was placed on her shoulder as she jumped in surprise. It's okay, the voice of Jiraiya said. Suddenly light started to emerge. She didn't realize that she was on the back as she felt the soft fur of Rimuru. Rimuru had transformed into a bird with a long tail that covered the both of them, covering his own back so all the light could not seep in, protecting them as he was up in mid-air. As Konan looked around, not even registering the fact that she was a flying creature, she just looked around. Chaos. Everything had been destroyed. She couldn't believe that Nagato would go that far, to use that technique while in the village. He killed so many people. Their goal was to protect the Yin Rain and he doomed it to hell. As it has been a long time since tears came to her eyes, but at this very moment, her eyes were filled with tears. The pain, the anguish of losing her people. That was their goal, to bring back the Yin Rain. To push the village into prosperity, right? So why? Why did he go that far? From the beginning, this was a mistake to go after Naruto Uzumaki. He had shown time and time again that he was stronger, but Nagato just wouldn't listen to her. He didn't care anymore, and now everything was gone. Thousands. She wasn't even sure if anyone was left alive after that hellstorm that happened. As she saw Jiraiya standing at the edge of the bird looking down, the bird then started to go down. As it went deep down, the whole earth had been cracked, leveling down towards where the ventilation systems were, towards where the escape routes were. That is where she saw him. Naruto was on his knees, looking down. His hands were cloaked with blood. He looked like he was digging because there was a lot of dirt on him. Yes, he was trying to dig through the massive pile up. She then saw the reason why his face looked so grim. In front of him, innocents. A lot of them crushed. Children. She saw his shoulders moving up and down. For a moment there, she thought that he was laughing, but no. He was crying. As Naruto sat there, looking at the destruction that he helped cause, he didn't want this. Despite everything, despite his godly powers, he was still human. At least, he still had the emotions. He still cared about people. And For someone who spent the past 3 years going around the elemental nation, helping people, seeing the poor, seeing the hungry, suffer the way they did, under iron rules of some tyrant, and destroying those tyrants to bring prosperity to the people. To see thousands being crushed, mercilessly trampled upon, by nothing but stones, killing them. Not a single one survived. He scanned the entire village. He couldn't feel any other life force other than those behind him. As he looked around at the chaos, he clenched his fists. He didn't want this. He wanted to take care of the guy that took the 3 girls out. He wanted to make him pay for what he did. Jiraiya was right. Naruto was holding his emotion. And now all the emotion was coming to the surface as he thought about Yujito, Samui, and Karu. The tears leaking from his eyes, not to mention these thousands of people, children, kids, that were barely 5 years old, completely trampled under the weight of the buildings that collapsed down, the broken earth. He caused this. In his rage, in his state, he caused so many devastation all around. Thousands of innocents died. For what? For what? Nothing at all. As Naruto sat there, Jiraiya came over as he placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder, as he had a feeling what the kid was going through. It was never easy for something like this to happen under your watch, knowing that you were responsible of killing so much, especially for someone like Naruto. Despite his power, despite his great, unstoppable strength, Jiraiya knew that the boy was soft-hearted when it comes to it. Let's not get it wrong, he was ruthless towards his enemies and those who wronged him and hurt his people. But towards innocence, Naruto was a good person. He would never let a hungry child go wandering. He would never let a starving family go on. He would always find a way. Even in his first mission to Wave, despite the headaches, he produced food for everyone in the village. That was just the kind of person he was. As when Jiraiya heard about the mission report, he knew that Naruto was the reason behind this. After all, who else could do that so quickly in the middle of the night? "I did this, Sensei," said Naruto. It's not your fault. Well, not alone. As Naruto turned, as he saw Konan standing there, her eyes looking quite bleak, it just made him feel more terrible. So this was a girl. This was who Nagato told him to watch over. And now she was the last one left. I'm sorry, said Naruto. Naruto had sensed her the moment he came in here along with Nagato. Despite her being a part of the Akatsuki, he sensed no ill will coming towards her from him. From the beginning, she never wanted a fight. She wanted the fight to come to a stop. But they still fought, and so many died. Jiraiya held Naruto up to his feet. As Naruto stood there, no one deserved to go out like this, said Naruto, and be in this state. As he stepped forward, as Naruto flew off up in the air, he arrived towards a death-like area of the hidden rain, where no buildings were around, just debris. As he placed his hand on the ground melted like water. As it became solid once again, a clear field. There were sizable holes all around. As Naruto extended his hand to the heavens, as thousands of purple threads, thick like ropes, extended from his palms, they shot forward all through the village and take all the bodies. They took all the bodies of each and every single member. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, bringing them all together. As Naruto cleared the entire area, all the debris, all the buildings, as Jiraiya and Konan watched as the buildings turned into nothing but ashes, blowing away in the wind. She watched as the ground opened up, small plots, small holes in the ground, graves. She watched as each of the members were placed inside, one after another. As she saw Naruto stand in the center with his eyes closed, doing all of this with just his power. All of the people were laid to rest as their graves were covered. The hidden rain was no more, it was just a giant memorial site. There was no more buildings, nothing around, just the damn field. Konan still couldn't believe that someone could actually do something like this. His powers just seemed rather unreal. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Stone, as Oniki was currently in a predicament. He was currently alone on a rather large boulder, as it was a mountain peak that overlooked his village, when this man just appeared behind him. The man wanted to talk. Oniki, as capable as he was, doesn't usually let his envoys follow him around. After all, despite his age, he was a formidable shinobi. As Oniki looked towards the robe. "You're from the Akatsuki?" "Yes. And you used us in the past. But I have a proposal that could be beneficial for the both of us." As Oniki looked towards a man with a swirling mask. "And what would that be?" Oniki asked. As he had a trained eye on the man, ready to see if the man was about to attack him so he can turn him into dust. "Well, you and I both have a big problem. And his name is Naruto Uzumaki. And it doesn't seem like you want to fall anytime soon. If you believe I will take your stupid notions to go against that, oh, don't worry. It won't be like last time when he completely humiliated you." Oniki snarled as he looked towards the masked man. "This time, things are gonna change. I have in my possession 6 of the 9 bijus, soon to be 7. And with that amount of power, we can annihilate Konoha, and Naruto Uzumaki included. And why would I side with you," Oniki asked, "to do something that probably might fail? Because if you don't, your village will burn." "What?" said Oniki. "You paid them a whole lot of money, and not to mention a written apology. I'm sure that was beyond humiliating for you. But I assure you at this very moment the hidden rain is no more. You see, Naruto Uzumaki found a member of the Akatsuki there, and they fought. And with his powers, he was able to annihilate the hidden rain. He killed hundreds of thousands of people within minutes. Just to go to show you. Wait, those earthquakes, yes, they were him," the masked man said. "Just go to show you how powerful he is. Tell me, how long do you think it would take for him to realize that he's too powerful to be controlled by Konoha, by anyone? Once that happens, what do you think he will do? What do you think a god will do with immense power, knowing that he could do basically anything? Yes, your mind is already knowing what he will do. He will go around and conquer a nation after another, just to prove his dominance over all of us. And don't deny that. Power has already corrupted people, and I assure you this power that Naruto Uzumaki wields is no ordinary power. Power that can topple mountains with one flick of his wrist. Power that can squash thousands. That is why he needs to be taken down. And how do you propose we do something like that?" Oniki said. The masked man smirked here and that. Oniki knew when things were going to be out of his control soon. He was getting old. He couldn't be the strong leader for the Hidden Stone as he once was. And this masked man was right. This Naruto Uzumaki was getting too powerful. And soon enough, who can stop him? Who would be able to stop him if he wanted to take over the entire world? He had to perish now, along with Konoha. Well, before that, Oniki said, "What do you want?" "To be plain with you, only thing I want is to see Naruto Uzumaki fall. You see, he has annihilated all the members of the Akatsuki, so I'm the only one left. And our goal has been destroyed. So that doesn't matter anymore. That is why I'm willing to lend you my services. And trust me, I have a lot to lend. Along with your help, to bring down Konoha and Naruto Uzumaki once and for all." "So what do you say?" asked the masked man. Despite Oniki wanting Naruto to perish, the last time Naruto fended off against thousands of his shinobis, he was a kid, and he was able to subdue them all. He lost so much back then. And not to mention what he had to do, the humiliation. What if it happened even worse this time? The boy has gotten stronger over the past 3 years. People literally call him Kami. But if he did not do something now, things would only get worse. He made up his mind as he turned towards the masked man with his answer. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Tsunade didn't know what was going on. The last message he got from Rimuru was that Naruto and Jiraiya were making their way towards the Hinrain, where they found possible information on the leader of the Akatsuki. Tsunade wasn't so worried. She had felt the earthquakes. She wondered if they were natural or if they were man-made. She did not know what was going on. If they were man-made, she only knew one person that could do something like that, from that far away. As it made her start to worry, was the opponent that strong to make Naruto push himself? For her to feel it all the way here, she did not know. She hoped they got back soon enough. Meanwhile, at a secluded country, well, you could call it that. It was just a base. Inside the base there was kids, a lot of them. All of them sitting down eating, their face looking blank, devoid of all emotions. That was because they were nothing but puppets. Puppets that were being trained by one man. And he stood over them with a calculating eye, with a smirk on his face. That man was Danzo Shamira, a new set of his root trainees. After all, he got them from all over the nations. Sometimes he had to pay a fee, sometimes he took what he wanted. But there was a lot of underground dealing, and the thing is, Danzo never let them survive after they saw his face. Yes, whenever he bought the children, he would take them and his money as well, taking over the operation of getting the children on his side. Root must always grow, because without the root, the tree will fall. Danzo was disturbed from his thoughts when he heard something hit against the door, as it sounded like something was happening outside. Danzo stepped back as he turned his attention towards the door, where he saw someone literally walk right through it. As the person focused on him, as Danzo saw the mask. "Who are you?" he asked, as he noticed a cloak. "Ah, I finally found you. Shamira Danzo. What did your Hokage think if you were out in a place like this? Doing whatever you're doing," the man said with a smirk on his face, although Danzo could not see it. "I'm sure she would be quite angry. After all, using kids. I thought this root program was supposed to be over a long time ago." As Danzo narrowed his eyes on this person, as there has been some chatter, but it couldn't be. "With your intellect, I suppose you already know or heard about me. Madara Uchiha." As the masked man simply smiled under his mask. "Well then, I guess I won't have to explain who I am. Tell me, what do you want?" Danzo asked. "Well, it's quite simple. I'm here to help you. You see, I have it under great wording that the moment you return back to your village, you will be captured and interrogated." "And why is that?" said Danzo, keeping a keen eye on the man. "Well, you see, they recently found out that you were the one that ordered the Uchiha massacre, that you were the one that set Itachi Uchiha up. And your Hokage won't let that slide." Danzo narrowed his eyes slightly. "Well, if you don't want to take my word for it, go back into your trap. Well, at the very moment, the person that is going to make the trap for you is not back. So I suggest that you find a way to convince the Hokage, by any means necessary, to see Naruto Uzumaki as a threat. Because if you don't, things are going to turn out really, really bad." "Well then, that's all I came to say. Why? Why give me this information?" Danzo asked. "It's quite simple. I hate Naruto Uzumaki." And with that, the man was gone, like he was never there to begin with. As Danzo frowned, he didn't thought that he would have to go to this extreme, but it seems like it couldn't be helped. Time skip. Tsunade hadn't heard anything from them. The day had passed and she didn't know what the hell was going on, or where they were. She was thinking of sending out her entours, but she didn't know if something was happening delicate, that she might blow their cover or something else. Perhaps those earthquakes were just natural. She heard a knock on her door, a knock that confused her. She didn't have anything scheduled for today, so probably it was just a walk-in. She wondered who it was. "Come in," she said. as the person entered to reveal it was none other than Danzo. The man had a small smile on his face as he looked towards Hokage. "Hokage-sama," he said, greeting her politely. "Danzo, what can I do for you?" said Tsunade as she kept a stern face, and she made sure to give away none of her intentions on the man. As Danzo just looked at her. As he just looked at her. "Well, you see, I've recently acquired some information." Tsunade turned towards the wall as she waved her hand, giving the envoys a wave to leave, which they did. Unknowing to them, there was Danzo's eye under the bandage swirling, the eye that belonged to Shisui Uchiha, as he was currently using the Kodama Sakami to invade Tsunade's mind. "And what information might that be?" asked Tsunade after they left. "Well, I think it's about time that we put Naruto Uzumaki under my control." Danzo, at the beginning he couldn't do this because if he had people with a saw the sudden change in Tsunade and knew that something was wrong, and he couldn't allow anyone to go into her mind to witness anything, especially the Yamanakas, given that he visited her, and the suspicion would be on him. But now he had a reason for her to change her mind. Naruto was involved in the destruction of the Hidden Rain. His power was getting out of control, too unstable, and he needs to be controlled. Yes. As he looked towards Tsunade and relayed all these towards her. Perhaps Danzo was right, Tsunade thought to herself. Naruto was getting too much out of control. And soon enough, what would stop him from doing what he pleased? After all, none of them could possibly stop him with the power that he had. They need to stop him right now before anything gets out of hand, she thought to herself. As Danzo simply smiled, a brilliant smile. "Is that all?" Tsunade asked. "Yes. I'll be taking my leave now." "Wait," Tsunade said. As Danzo stopped. "I will need your help to subdue him. He needs to be stopped, you're correct." "Well, I've been saying this for a long time now. But you're right, his power is too great. Who knows what will happen if he decides to turn that power into a leaf? No, he wouldn't do that," said Tsunade. "Oh, would he?" said Danzo, looked at her more sternly. As Tsunade realized that Naruto would. Yeah, so the power that he had, power corrupted and changed people, he would do it. Time skip. As Konan was just sitting there, as Naruto had told her everything that happened. What Nagato said. Nagato asking him to watch over her, not to mention the masked man. She had information on a lot of things, not to mention the remaining Nakasukis, and that would be needed. That is why they were bringing her back to Konoha. As they flew right into the village, not even stopping the gate as Katetsu and Izumo looked up. They saw that it was Naruto. As they kept on flying right towards the tower. Jiraiya was kind of happy that Konan survived. When he heard that the 3 kids had died, he was broken. He had hoped that he could find a way to stop Nagato, but he was too late. But now they had other things to worry about, like the maniac going around calling himself Madara Uchiha. Not even Konan believed that he was Madara. As they arrived inside, Shizune was the one that was there. "Naruto, you need to go towards the council room," she said. "What's going on?" "Emergency council meeting. Tsunade told me to tell you once you come back." As Naruto nodded, as Jiraiya went behind him, they paused. They looked towards Konan, as they didn't know if they should bring her. The situation was quite delicate right now, and they should speak to Tsunade first before they told the rest of the council, and for them to come up with a good plan. "I know," said Naruto, as he looked towards Rimuru, who had transformed small back. "Could you bring her to the compound?" Jiraiya eyed Naruto as he looked towards him. And as Naruto placed a hand on Rimuru's head, informed the others, he said, as he transferred what he wanted to tell the others. Rimuru nodded, as he went back to the window as he transformed to a bird. "He's gonna bring you towards somewhere safe. Stay there until we return. There might be some people there, but everything will be explained," said Naruto. Konan simply nodded. She didn't know what she was gonna do after this. She was always the one to follow someone. She was following Nagato. She followed the Akatsuki, she followed Yaiko. She didn't know what she was gonna do. Everything had just went to hell. All of her people were gone. Nagato was gone, the Akatsuki was done. Masano was still there, but she doesn't know what to do. Ice. Rimuru flew her straight back towards the compound, where he would explain to the others as Naruto and Jiraiya both made their way towards the council room. Naruto didn't understand what kind of meeting this was. After all, they had more important things to discuss. As he arrived near the door, he felt strange as he stopped. "What's wrong?" Jiraiya asked. "Don't know. Just have this weird feeling," said Naruto. "You can have weird feelings later," Jiraiya said. "We need to find out what this is about and get Tsunade out of there." As Naruto pushed open the door, as both him and Jiraiya entered, all the members were looking at him, as they were quiet down the moment he stepped inside. Naruto was confused by that as he went and took his seat. "Now that you're here, we can begin," said Tsunade. "What is this about, Bachan?" said Naruto. "I have something important to discuss with you." "That will have to wait," she said, in a stern tone. "It has come to my attention that you were involved with the destruction of the terrain. How did you..." "Look, I have to explain what happened here." "Silence," she said. Jiraiya blinked in confusion. Why was Tsunade acting this way? Something was wrong. As Naruto looked around the room, Danzo, the two council members are there, civilian members, and the other council members. Kasumi found it strange that Tsunade was acting this way, not to mention what Tsunade had just told them, that Naruto was a problem. What was she talking about? So far, the deaths. The casual rate has been nearly non-existent since the seal was created. The seal that he was able to pass out, that could heal anyone, that could benefit anyone until they got proper medical care back at Konoha. If the wound wasn't too lethal, his seals were able to save thousands. And not to mention he was doing it for the benefit of Konoha, because from what she heard, he did not charge. Yes, he did not charge for it. She did not know how the Uzumaki clan was getting their money. They probably had some kind of deals on the side or something else. But it can't be because of those seals. So she didn't understand Hayashi as well. He knew that Tsunade was rather fond of the boy. So why was she acting this way? It made absolutely no sense. As Naruto looked towards her confused, the envoys, with a single movement of her hand, flashed around him. As Naruto felt nothing coming from them, they felt like they had no emotions. These envoys weren't normal. "I, 5th Hokage of Konoha, hereby put you under arrest, Naruto Uzumaki." "Arrest? For what?" said Naruto as he got to his feet, pushing back his chair. As the envoys tense, getting ready to move. "Your power is too unstable. You need to be contained. It's for the betterment of Konoha. With these kind of powers, who can control you? Why would we have the power to hold you back if you decide to take what you want?" "You know I would never do something like that," said Naruto. "I do not know anything," she said. "That is why you need to be contained. Right now, going against me means going against Konoha. Do you really want to fight this?" she asked. "Look, I don't know what's going on, but you need to calm down," said Naruto. "Because you know I would never betray Konoha. As I said, I don't know anything that you might do." "Hokage-sama, if I may," said Hayashi, speaking up. "I agree with Uzumaki-san, as well as many of us here," he said as he looked around the room. None of them could deny the fact that this boy wanted nothing but for the benefit of Konoha. He has shown in no possible way that he will ever betray the village. I am confused by your sudden change. This is a decision that we have to make immediately. His power has grown out of control, and we need to..." "But why?" Hayashi said. "He has not shown any ill will against the village." "Hayashi, stop interrupting me," said Tsunade. "I have seen it for myself. He needs to be stopped before he caused more damage than necessary." Hayashi was given a stern look by Tsunade that meant sit down or else. The man was confused as he gave Naruto an apologetic look, as Naruto was responsible for helping him in so much ways, helping his daughter and doing so much things for him, not to mention what they were doing with the birdcage seal. So he did not understand. "Hokage-sama, this makes no sense," said Tasumi. "Tasumi, your Hokage is speaking, do not interrupt me. Naruto Uzumaki will be placed under arrest until I say so, or he's proved his innocence. In a sense, Naruto couldn't understand what the hell was going on, or if this was real. Heim, said Jiraiya as he stepped forward. Have you lost your mind or something? Because if this is some kind of sick joke, I don't know what you're getting at. Jiraiya, I'm the Hokage and you will respect that, she said. Anvus, arrest him. The first Anvu that reached towards Naruto. Naruto grabbed him by the mats and lifted him up. As he break him through the table, the others that tried, they were sent as they slammed into the wall. Naruto ripped off the mask as he grabbed the man's mouth and opened it, forcefully pulling out the man's tongue, where he saw a seal on it. So, it makes sense, said Naruto. He had been attacked by these guys before, and he had felt no emotion from them, and they were able to activate a seal on their tongue to kill themselves before he could question them. So it all made sense, he thought, as he turned towards Danzo. And Tsunade was on her feet. Jiraiya grabbed her as she was about to jump at Naruto as he held on to her. Kid, what the hell is going on? As the other clan heads got up as well. Danzo getting up as well. Hayashi-san, could you please activate your Byakugan? And look what is under that bandage. As Hayashi looked confused as he looked towards Danzo, all of them did. What's going on? Asked Inuichi. Why? What's wrong with the Hokage? As Danzo started cursing his mind. Things were not going as he expected. This is the reason why he never tried to control the Hokage before. The sudden change would just be abnormal. Damn it, he cursed. But he thought with the recent actions, things would have gone his way to show them that Naruto was out of control. But it seems like he had too much people that respected him in this village. He had to change that. As Danzo pushed the Kodomasukami, Danzo could use it every other day because of the Hoshirama cell, and he still had time to use it, although it was taking a great deal from him. His body already felt feeble as he couldn't cast over everyone, as the eye had to go to a rest afterwards. I think we should hear what is going on. This further prove that you're unstable, said Shibe, attacking a fellow Anvu, while refusing to be restrained because of your actions. My actions? Of protecting the village, said Naruto. He was sure that this was just an illusion. Shibe would never say something like that. As Naruto started contact with Rimuru, as Rimuru shot forth to get who Naruto was calling, as the rest of the Anvu started to surround Naruto as they got back up. Danzo, if you're gonna try and control someone, you should get their personalities right. Hey, let yourself be restrained. You can sort this out, but fighting against the Anvu means that you're fighting against Konoha, the Hokage as well. Do you really want that to happen, said Tatsumi. Danzo looked at Naruto. I am not aware of what you're referring to, but you need to be restrained immediately. Will you really fight against your home village? Will you? The door burst open as Sasuke entered, as he already had his sword pulled, as he glared towards Danzo. Danzo could not use the eye once again, as he snarled. He's using some illusion to control them all, said Naruto as he appeared beside Sasuke. Illusion. As Sasuke clenched his fist. You are using one of those Sharingans that you have in your disposal, aren't you? Sharingan, said Jiraiya. As he didn't seem to be affected, Danzo could not control all of their minds. He had already used it on Tsunade. He didn't use it towards the full extent, but used it on the rest of the people. Yes, it took a lot out of him and his body could not contain it. Despite having the Hoshirama cell, Danzo was just not an Uchiha. Yes, and that was his problem. Kind of like Genjutsu, said Naruto, but he's trying to bend them towards his will. Danzo started to move as Sasuke threw his blade. Danzo twists as he used the arm bracer to block it. As Naruto held out his arm, as purple tentacles seeped from his body and grabbed all of the members that were being controlled. Their eyes went white. As Danzo moved in to attack Naruto, seeing that he was currently stuck in that state as well, only for Sasuke to clash with him. As Sasuke Konan clashed against the bracer, Jiraiya came in the vicious right hook. But the Anvu got in the way. But the Anvu stood no chance against Jiraiya, as the man was pummeled as he brick right through the wall. Jiraiya then turned to backhand Danzo, but Danzo ducked as he quickly jumped back. Realized the situation was not in his favor, but if he could kill these two quickly. As he motioned for his route to attack them as he started to undo the bracers rather quickly. If he could just kill these two, then everything would be under his control and he would take the Uzumaki. He just needed 5 minutes to take off the bracers as he started to summon all of his root agents to move quickly through the shadows to get here. And they did. That was until Danzo felt a warm sensation as he looked down to see blood. His arm was missing. Danzo was shocked to his core, not understanding, as Naruto ripped the bracer off completely. As the thing was counting down, but Naruto literally just teared it off the severed arm. As he dropped it towards the ground, Sasuke's eyes went wide. So this is what you did to my clan? Tsunade shook her head. What just happened? She said. Bachan, you okay? Naruto. What? Tsunade's eyes went wide. That wasn't me, she said. I know. So he was right, said Hayashi. You were controlling us. As the man narrowed his eyes. How? How are they? I went into their minds, and I broke whatever control you had over them, said Naruto. Danzo was still shocked that his arm was removed. As he glared at Naruto, he was about to make towards the exit as root agents burst into the room, only for them to drop to their knees, an unsettling force settling on their shoulders. Danzo dropped as well as his arm snapped out of control, given the force that was being applied to him. As Sasuke moved forward with his blade, as he twisted and brought it down. Stop, said Tsunade. As Sasuke stopped, his hand shaking, delivered the final strike as he looked towards Tsunade, a bit angry. I need to know. We need to confirm the truth so everyone here can hear it. As Naruto stepped forward and grabbed Danzo and picked him up with one arm, the root agent still having a problem moving. As he looked Danzo deep into his one eye, Danzo scowled as he tried to move his arm, but yet he could not. The pressure that was settling down on him was unbelievable. He felt like he was wearing thousands of pounds of weights. His arm had long dislocated out of its socket. The root agents had their mask smashed on the ground as their face just planted in it. As Naruto dived into Danzo's mind. Meanwhile, Danzo's eyes opened wide as Naruto found what he was looking for. As Danzo started speaking in a robotic tone, like he was being the one controlled. Yes, I was the one that ordered Itachi to get rid of the Uchiha clan. And to protect his brother, he did so. Now, he's known as a clan slayer. He did it for Konoha, because above everything, Konoha will remain standing despite the atrocities that it is forced to do in the darkness. As Naruto released Danzo, who dropped towards the ground, Danzo looked up and glared. Damn you, Uzumaki. Danzo Shimura. As Tsunade looked towards the council as each of them nodded, except for Kaharu and Homura, who just looked at Danzo, but yet they did not voice their approval or anything. As 5th Hokage of Konoha, I hereby sentence you to death for your actions against the Uchiha clan. Sasuke wasted no time as he dragged the blade down, piercing through Danzo's skull, killing him within seconds. As Danzo's body dropped, by now the root agents had all passed out, the pressure getting too much for them. Their brain literally collapsed in on itself, but they weren't dead. Tsunade looked towards Naruto. Sorry about that, she said. Don't worry, you were being controlled, said Naruto. It wasn't your fault. As he looked around the room. What are we gonna do with them? Time skip. There was a lot of them. Naruto was able to find the underground base that Danzo used, where they had to store their root onfus. As much as Tsunade hated to say it would be a waste, just kill them all. They could be put to work for the village, not for underhand means anymore. Despite everything, they worked for the village. They wanted Konoha to prosper. That is how Danzo trained them, but without emotions. She was planning something that involved Sasuke, but she hadn't quite figured the mix of it all yet. But first thing first, Itachi Uchiha should return back to Konoha. If this was truth, if Itachi did all of this because he wanted peace between the village. He should be hailed as a hero, not a criminal. But in the eyes of many people, he was still the enemy that slaughtered the entire Uchiha clan, and that would not change because it happened by his hands. She declared it a secret between them. She and all the council members, a his-ranked secret, which no one will break. But they had to find Itachi and bring him back. After all, he was doing this. He did this for the benefit of Konoha, to keep the people safe. He went and slaughtered his own clan. Someone like that should be celebrated, not being treated as a monster that he was treated as. But this need to be on the wrap. But for now, they didn't know how to find him. Meanwhile, as Tsunade was currently in the interrogation room with Konan, Tsunade wanted to speak to her alone. The information was already given. Konan did not hesitate to tell them everything that she knew. And that was a lot. But Tsunade wanted to know. What now, she asks. Your home is destroyed. You are not willing to go back there, are you? I doubt that Jiraiya would want me to go back there. Tsunade looked at the girl as she remembered her. Back in the war, these were one of the orphans. Do you blame him, she asked. She shook her head. Why not? Nagato was as much responsible as Naruto was. At least Naruto wanted to save the people. Nagato was going too far. It wasn't his fault. His mind was corrupted a long time ago. Forces out of his controls. As much as I tried to help him and stop it, it could not be stopped. But no, I don't blame him. He gave them all a proper funeral. He wanted to help, despite having no connection to the Marine. He's really a good person. That he is, said Tsunade. So what are you gonna do now? I don't know, said Konan. She was no longer in the Akatsuki clothing. As Haku was the one to give her some clothing, it wouldn't be, well, wise for her to walk around the Akatsuki clothing like that. She was wearing a blue shirt. Rather snug a bit, but not too bad. Black shorts with a purple skirt around it, and sandals. I don't know, said Konan. She didn't know where to go, or what to do. Was her life over now? Well, Naruto has asked me to let you stay at the Uzumaki compound until you're ready to know what you're gonna do. Wait, really? Knowing him, he'll probably even ask you if you want to be a part of the Uzumaki clan. Konan was confused. Why? Why? Why does he do the thing that he does? Yes. I've been finding out more about him and the things that he does over the past couple of years. Why does he do them? Well, in this world of chaos and corruption, and people that backstab you the moment they get the opportunity, Naruto is a ray of sunshine that is shining bright to prevent that all from happening, to continue on. And if you can put your trust in anyone, you can put it in him. Because as he said he would, he will find peace. Because I believe he will be the one to unite all the nations, said Tsunade. As Konan got a small smile at that. That was the same thing that Yaiko wanted. He wanted to push the Akatsuki after they were done with the Hidden Rain, to bring the entire world to peace. But his dream was corrupted. You will be helpful staying here, just in case we need anything else about the remaining member of the Akatsuki. Would you apply us to their services? Asked Tsunade. As the woman was taking it rather easy than she expected though. Konan simply nodded. As Tsunade nodded, she left the room. Jiraiya then came in. As he gave her a smile. What should the smile sensei, she asked. I'm glad you decided to stay. It's a whole lot better than being out here all alone. I will do what I can to help you on the progress of stopping the masked man. After that, I don't know, she said. Don't worry. You'll find something, he said, the smile. I'm just glad that you're okay. Despite everything and time that has passed, Jiraiya was actually happy that she was okay. He had thought himself a big failure, having let them die when he was about to try and visit them to see how they were coming along. But knowing that she was at least okay brought him a bit of happiness. Meanwhile, as Kurosaki made her way, As she arrived towards her grandfather's office, the man was sitting there in his chair, not really doing anything. He was looking through the window. He had turned his chair around. For once, she felt like the man was confused about something. Like he didn't know what he was doing. "Hey, old man, what's going on?" she asked. As he turned back towards her, a calculated look on his face. "We are going to war," he said. "War? What the hell are you talking about, old man?" "The Hinrin has been destroyed." "What? Who did it?" "A member of the Akatsuki was there. And Naruto Uzumaki went there. And throughout the battle, his powers was able to render the Hinrin to dust. A few of my ninjas came back from there as he threw something on the table. Photos. Kurosaki picked them up. As she looked at the photographs, "What is this?" she asked. "That is what remained of the Hinrin. But where are the bit? They're all gone. Wiped out in the blink of an eye. By one boy." Kurosaki clenched her fists. "Is he really that much stronger?" "He is. And we can't afford to get any more stronger." "But Gramps, the last time, this is not like the last time. This time, I have help." "From who? Another nation?" "No. Something even better. Something more powerful," he said, as he smirked darkly. Meanwhile, as two figures wearing the Akatsuki clothing were currently making their way, as the rain started to fall, as Itachi looked up in the sky, he didn't know why, but he had a feeling that everything was about to change very soon. Something was gonna happen. Something big. He wondered where this feeling was coming from. It was strange. Meanwhile, as a figure descended down from the heavens, it seems, but they were just coming from space. As the figure slowly landed, the figure body could not be seen as many people as the figure landed in a crowded village where people were in the market streets, a rather minor village. As people shielded their eyes confused, as the figure stepped forward, their body was cloaked in so much light you could barely see them until the light started to fade away. As everyone stood there shocked to look at this person, who the hell were they, and where did they came from? A voice then spoke that sounded like it didn't really have a gender. "Where's Athena?" She knew the name of the goddess, power that passed on to Naruto. This energy, this godly power, she knew that person's name. But how did she know? And where did she came from? Well guys, you're gonna find out that in the next episode. If you want to see the next part, so do like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification, stay posted, remember to share to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way, but I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace out.